Brothers? Ah, how cool.
You said.
I know what I said. I was the one who
Ah.
You said it was looking at you funny.
said it. I was tired, overwrought. I didn't mean it. It's an appliance. It does a job.
Look at this
Pretty
tracking
tall
shot.
appliance. We're not talking cheese grater.
You're like one of those guys who can't go out with a girl unless his mother approves.
Oh.
Shut it down to basic mode for you.
Basic? Because I'm a girl.
Hey.
A kind of escape pod.
Come on.
He's not that far off. Oh yes, the interior of the TARDIS. I've been asking for this for so long. Whoa. Right.
It's
Yeah.
bigger.
On the inside. You know, I get that a lot.
What makes you think we'll help?
I just activated the TARDIS self-destruct system.
How's that for putting some pressure on yourself?
The TARDIS is in lockdown.
Wow.
Open those doors when Clara's by my side. Don't get into a spaceship with a madman. Didn't anyone ever teach you that? Salvage of a lifetime. You meant the ship. I meant Clara.
Oh, I remember that. Oh, oh, Amy made that, right? Huh?
I think we should split up. It's our best chance of finding the girl. You know it is.
He's got other intentions.
The TARDIS will get huffy if you mess.
Whoa. Have I seen that before? The pool! Is that perhaps a projection? Is the TARDIS projecting potions?
No, that's just showing off.
Ah, the library. I've heard of this. There's a lot of history there. Echoes through history.
I don't understand. Give me a price tag.
Incalculable.
What?
More valuable than the total sum of any currency.
Whoa.
You'll get yours. You'll get yours.
What's the matter, TARDIS? Scared to fight me?
Hold on now. You're asking for trouble, man. Whoa. Whoa. Yes, please.
So that's who.
So that's who. Whoa.
Oh, thank you.
That's not the one, is it? Or is it?
Oh, mwah.
Almost looks like a female.
Multiple life forms on board the TARDIS with us. I am getting a massive signal.
Okay, so maybe it's not a security system.
About 2 steps away.
Love her facial expressions.
Back where we started.
No.
No.
It's an echo.
The console room is the safest place on the ship. It can replicate itself any number of times. It's trying to protect us.
Okay, now I'm starting to get a look at it. There you go.
Clara, I'm so sorry. Sorry, please forgive me, Clara.
Why have you got zombie creatures? Good guys do not have zombie creatures. Rule 1, basic storytelling.
All right. Look, a deal's a deal. You got the girl back. Now cancel the self-destruct.
About that.
You know, I've got to tell you, I won't be needing you in my quiz team.
What?
There is no self-destruct, okay?
Where are we going?
Detour.
The center of the TARDIS.
There it is.
Something's
Click.
in here.
Look at Clara, the
Those
outlier.
things, they followed us.
The red dress.
Doctor, what are they? What aren't you telling me?
Trust me. Some things you don't want to know.
Whoa, whoa.
I know
Yeah.
what I said. I was the one who said it.
You said it was looking at you funny.
Now you're creeping me out.
There's a rupture in time somewhere on board the ship, a small tear in the fabric of the continuum. It must have happened when the TARDIS was pulled in by the salvage vessel. The TARDIS is leaking.
Leaking what?
The past.
It won't hurt me. Tricky, you don't understand. I'm an android.
Oh, he's not, is
You
he?
made it through!
What's the matter with you? Why won't you cut me?
He's not an android. The doctor knows.
Tell him. Two bionic eyes and a synthetic voice box. But you, my friend, are human. Flesh and blood.
It was a joke. It was just a stupid joke. We did it to relieve the boredom.
Well, it was very funny.
Come on. How lame.
Just to provide some in-flight entertainment.
Sorry.
You know, this guy's a proper asshole.
The Eye of Harmony! Exploding star in the act of becoming a black hole! Time Lord engineering!
That's not good. Are they going to be on the other side as well? Okay then.
Lancashire. Sats. Identifiable substance. Clara.
A burn in here.
It isn't just the past leaking out through the time rift. It's the future. Listen, I brought you here to keep you safe, but it happened again. You died again.
What do you mean again?
Okay. Here it comes. There's a message there though.
The engine room. The heart of the TARDIS.
Whoa.
We're outside.
No, we're still in the TARDIS.
There's no way across.
No? Okay.
Wow, look at
What
this.
do we do? Time for a plan. Do you have a plan?
Beautiful color
No,
grading.
no plan, sorry.
If you don't have a plan, we're dead.
Yes. Why do I keep running into you?
Doctor, you invited me. You said...
Before that, I met you at the Dalek Asylum. There was a girl in a shipwreck and she died, saving my life, and she was you.
She really wasn't.
And she was you.
You're scaring me.
What are you, eh? A trick? A trap?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Easy, doctor. He lost it there for a second. Reel it back in.
We need to jump.
You're insane.
We'll cross a
A leap
portal
of
for the
faith.
engine.
How can you be so sure?
Well, I can't.
Okay, then, well, that's watertight.
Hey, now, Clara, I've piloted this ship for over 900 years. Trust me this one time, please.
Okay. Okay. As well as all the other times.
Whoa.
The heart of the TARDIS.
Whoa.
The engine. It's already exploded. It must have been the collision with the salvage ship. She's just always been there for me and taken care of me, and now it's my turn and I don't know what to do. It just...
Right, the message, the message.
The time rift. Recent past, possible future.
What are you going to do?
We write
Bad memories of cracks.
I've thrown this through the rift before.
The library. I saw it. You were mentioned in a book.
I'm mentioned in a lot of books.
This book specifically was...
You call yourself Doctor. Why do you do that? You have a name. I've seen it in one corner of that tiny...
If I rewrite today, you won't remember. You won't go looking for my name.
I'll still have secrets.
It's better that way.
The pit. Oh, right. Intersect, intersect. Look at that, good as new. Hey.
I feel exhausted. I feel...
We've had 2 days crammed into the space of one.
Why would you say that?
Did he just slap her bum?
Give me a number out of 10. 10 being woohoo, 1 being
11.
You're being weird.
I need to know if you feel safe. I need to know.
Oh my god, he's so lovely.
The future. Running away with a spaceman in a box. Anything could happen to you.
That's what I'm counting on. Push the button.
Oh my gosh. She is so stunning. Right then, the salvage of a lifetime, eh? I mean, first of all, I've got to say, I mean, it's impossible. I cannot even hide my smile every time she's on screen. Jenna Coleman, Clara, is the definitive Doctor Who crush. For me, of course. I can't speak for anyone else. But yeah, I mean, you've seen me anytime she's on screen. She is just delightful. And also, I've got to say the wardrobe is playing a big part as well here for the character of Clara. I mean, she really gets to rock a lot of great outfits. The types of outfits that really make her stand out. And, in this episode specifically, it's an outfit that really makes her stand out, right? Like I mentioned, that outlier, that anomaly that is meant to be Clara, the mystery that surrounds Clara. Now, I got something really quite exciting because I get some substantial development on that end, right? Essentially, I get a peek at how things could potentially play out if this goes down. I mean, it does go down, but of course, by the end of it, it's the good old, the reset, the big reset button, a reset that brings you back to square one and you forget everything, unless of course, there is a bit of a twist here, and Clara does remember, right? Even after this, potentially. Let's see. That could be exciting. That could be interesting. And, maybe not remember everything, but maybe fragments. Maybe something comes back to her at some point. Because again, I mean, she is special. The existence of that individual is special. So special things could happen to her. But I do get a peek at how things could play out in that doctor companion dynamic. The Doctor and Clara specifically. If these secrets are to come out, if these secrets are shared, right? Now, the Doctor, at his most terrifying in this episode, essentially, as he's kind of imploring, really, really imploring Clara to come out with it, right? It's the end. You might as well tell me all about it, right? And you see through some great acting on the other end as well. Jenna's acting is really top-notch here. Again, matching Matt Smith, you see that she is really quite frightened by the Doctor, right? Afraid of the Doctor in that moment. As she told him straight up, I might be more afraid of you than anything in that TARDIS at the moment. And yeah, he really can be frightening, right? You could even argue that maybe once he drops a lot of these disguises, these masks, these facades, that might be the real Doctor down there, right? Potentially. That's not a side that he likes to bring out, but once it comes out, whew, yeah, it can be scary for the people on the opposite end of it, on the receiving end of it. And that frustrated moment, because he just simply cannot figure out Clara and her existence, he lost it, right? He lost it. And like I said, he had to reel it back in, right? I got kind of protective of Clara in that sense. And, of course, I love the Doctor, but you've got to call it as you see it sometimes, right? The Doctor can certainly be in the wrong. Now, of course, because of the actual nature of the things that are kind of happening, right? The almost apocalyptic nature of them, her reaction to finding out that she's actually just being, or she was brought on for an ulterior motive, is maybe not the one I was expecting, right? I mean, actually, maybe I should take that back. I think maybe her reaction was realistic because she was baffled. She was baffled at the things this man is saying, again, frightening her. Certainly living up to that madman with a time machine persona that he keeps, speaking of. So yeah, maybe it is a realistic reaction. In my head, I just didn't see it going down like this. Again, yes, it gets erased and they go back to square one, and essentially anything that happened in this episode maybe doesn't matter in the long run, but maybe I should take that back as well. You never know. It's getting to the end of the series, right? The end game. Just three more episodes, right? Of series 7. Minus the specials and all that. So yeah, maybe some of these things are going to matter. I mean, hell, there's a crack. There's an exploding TARDIS, or elements of a TARDIS exploding. Really quite reminiscent of series 5. Coincidence? I don't know. I mean, the crack. I saw that crack and I was taken back to series 5. But then, of course, I like the fact that after grilling her, he does come to understand that, okay, hold on. Okay, this is Clara. This is just a person, right? Or she is a person, that he should be treating her like a person rather than this experiment, this mystery, this anomaly, this outlier that he's studying. But also, there's that idea in this one that secrets keep us safe, right? Sometimes it's better not to know, or it's better not to get an answer to a question, or it's better not to have an answer to a question, right? But, I think the implication is also that it's the doctor's secrets that, that keep people safe. But, speaking of secrets, on the other end, you have Clara, who came across the doctor's name, right? Yes, she happened to turn to the exact page that had the doctor's name, but still, I suppose you could kind of overlook that. But again, it's gone. Or is it? The doctor's name was certainly a big talking point in the conclusion of series 6. I mean, that's still a plot point that's at play, right? That needs to be explored. And I'm speaking of the series 6 finale. But of course, Clara running into that book in the library, how cool. I finally get some really detailed interior of the TARDIS. Though, for a lot of it, it was just kind of like a quick flash, right? As she's running by, I see the pool, I see that other room. It kind of seems familiar, but I'm not sure if I've seen it before. But I was so happy that there is quite a lengthy scene, or a few cuts inside the library, right? As she is also being stalked by that creature who ends up being Clara as well, right? That was a big twist here. That she does end up dying in that future, but of course, the doctor stops it from happening. Kind of ends up erasing that day altogether. Though you see that some of it kind of lingers. You see that the one brother who's a bit of an asshole, you see that he kind of keeps a bit of that attitude, newfound attitude by the end of it, right? And he is kind of standing up for the brother. But the thing is, doesn't that brother now kind of go back to being a fake android? Isn't that facade, isn't that lie back on now? Now, to be honest, that whole part about the brothers, them being a part of this episode altogether, it didn't do it for me. I could not connect. I thought, it wasn't the greatest acting on display, and, you can't be that harsh. They are just one appearance characters, and they're certainly written in that manner, right? Really one-dimensional. I mean, of course, there might be a few good moments of acting, but it really falls apart as well for the most part. That whole thing about, trying to convince him, or, successfully convincing him that he is an android, as a joke this whole time. Yes, there's a bit of a tragic backstory to that, but I don't know, it rubbed me the wrong way. The whole, oh, it was a joke. And the fact that he ends up buying it, or that he was able to be convinced that he is an android. You have to go to the washroom, don't you? You get sleepy. You get hungry. All of those things. You can figure out in a matter of like 10 minutes or half an hour that, of course, you're not an android unless you're some kind of really, okay, maybe you can take that angle. Okay, this is some really futuristic, top tier android that can kind of mimic all the feelings of a human, including the ones I just mentioned. But I don't know. I'll be honest. I found that whole plot point really silly. And by the end of it kind of goes back to it, right? So I don't know. Is there a possibility that maybe something kind of leaks through for Clara as well, or maybe even the doctor? I mean, I suppose it does kind of take that unique approach, and it flips it, right? Here you have an android, here you have a human who is convinced that he or it is an android, but usually it's the other one, right? It's usually the android that has to find out that indeed it's not a human, but an android. But I've got to be honest, that didn't do much for me. And I actually would have liked or preferred that portion of it to be scrapped altogether. And also the fact that these scavengers, right, these random scavengers ended up causing that much damage to the TARDIS. It's not just normal, simple damage. I mean, this is the TARDIS almost at its end, right? I didn't like that. But listen, I certainly liked a lot of things about this episode. Of course, the whole concept of being inside the TARDIS, an entire episode essentially being inside the TARDIS, I was so happy about that. Yes, it had its share of corridors. You know, a lot of shots of people just running, right? Of course, you know, it's kind of prepped up a bit because of some of the photography, right? Makes it a bit easier, right? It certainly makes it a bit easier because it has a lot of great photography, right? A lot of great lighting to give it that personality, to give it that mood. But yeah, essentially the corridors are unavoidable if you are going to stage it in that setting. But yeah, you know, it was starting to feel like Alice, tumbling down the rabbit hole. And I'm speaking of Clara in the beginning. I love those. I love those segments so much. Right? There's a lot of Easter eggs. I saw the cot. A good man goes to war. He brought that out. I saw, the TARDIS that Amy built or not built. She made. You know, is paper mache or something. I'm sure there's many Easter eggs in there for some of the classic Doctor Who fans. A thing I really liked here is the montage, the audio montage of, clearly Doctor Who history, right? The voiceover. It sounded like different doctors, perhaps different companions. I mean, I personally didn't really clock any specific voice, but I'm sure, people I heard from before are in there. You know, anytime they do that, it's a goosebump-inducing moment. It really is. Because even for me, someone who hasn't seen any of the classic Doctor Who, those moments, you could still feel it. You still feel it. I do. I certainly feel those moments, even if I don't know much about the classic Doctor Who, because you feel the history. And I loved how, Gallifreyan history is kind of bottled up in these voice notes, essentially. Almost kind of like a podcast format to, give an example kind of related to that. It was kind of starting to feel like potions class or something, I thought those are potions bottles behind her. It was actually really quite reminiscent of that scene from The Long Night, from Game of Thrones season 8. I try not to bring up Game of Thrones season 8 all that much, but Arya, remember Arya, and the walkers as she's being stalked, really similar, right? But of course, this came long before that. Not saying that one took inspiration from the other, but I do like to point out similarities in things I've seen before, and it happens a lot. And I was kind of starting to feel like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory as well. Kind of going room to room. It really had that feeling, and that was something really quite exciting for me. But that one room, oh my goodness, it was something kind of out of Avatar, right? That film, the James Cameron film. That was beautiful. I thought that was beautiful. And I'm speaking of the one, the guy, steals the circuit from. And notice how the Doctor doesn't attack him physically. I mean, I'm sure that's not even on his mind, right? The moment he takes it, it's clear that, okay, the Doctor is just hoping this guy returns it. He gives it up, right? That he has to make that choice. I as a Doctor cannot make that choice for him. I cannot physically do anything to him, right? I don't think that's even on his mind. So I thought that was really interesting, because you see how disappointed he is as the guy, walks out of there and he touches one of the circuits. And for the second episode running, I get to hear about the Eye of Harmony, this exploding star that is in the act of becoming a black hole. I mean, I didn't just hear about it this time. I get to see it, and I thought that was beautiful imagery. It really was. I thought that was fantastic science fiction imagery. It really was. The CGI really holds up there, I think. And then kind of just looking up at it and the lighting and the whole presentation of that. And, to end it off, I kind of wanted to touch up on this idea or, that concept of the Doctor lies. They really lean into that in the last series, right? River Song is the one who usually mentions that and kind of reminds people. Now, I don't think it's just as simple as that, right? I don't think anyone actually believes it's as simple as that, the Doctor lies. It feels like a really surface level statement, but I think, of course, it's much more nuanced than that. Is it that the Doctor lies, or is it that the Doctor feels the need to protect terrible knowledge sometimes in the name of pragmatically protecting people? So I really like that concept anytime it comes around. But of course, that being said, the whole the self-destruction element, yes, that's straight on just lying to them, to kind of get them to help out, because he needs their help, right? He needs the manpower. He can't do it alone. I think that is an episode that has a lot of fun stuff, a lot of interesting and intriguing stuff, right? again, it's an absolute treat to be inside the TARDIS for that long, for the span of an episode. Right then, if you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments. Give me your thoughts on this one. I would love to hear your thoughts on this one, for sure. And, you know, if you're interested in early access or perhaps even full length, consider checking out the Patreon page. The links are in the description and the pinned comments, also links to social media. Right then, thank you for joining me and Paddington. And thank you for your time, because time is precious. It really is. Yeah, us Doctor Who fans know all about it. So I do hope to see you again soon for the next one. Until then, take it easy.